Hey, it's windy today. Imagine that. Doesn't this wind know that I have an update to do for you guys on the front lawn renovation, how it's coming along? So I'm gonna do my best with this wind and the microphone outdoors, so if I have to come back in here and explain things to you, I will, but let's look at a few things. So look at that, we do have good growth going already, and we're on day 8 today. And of course, I would love to mow this lawn already. I'm looking at it thinking, why isn't it growing much faster than it is? And of course the weather has cooled down here, so it's not growing quite as fast as the side renovation did when I seeded that, because our temperatures were much higher. So that's one of my downfalls especially when seeding lawns. And because I've had so many projects going on this year, I think my patience level has run pretty thin now as far as getting this thing done. So it is where it is though, and I keep telling myself, Ryan, you're crazy, it's day 8, what are you talking about here? But it's day 8, I want to mow, but I can't do that yet. So let me just mention to you quickly what seed types I put down. I didn't do that in the last video just because I didn't want to go over the whole thing again, my whole seeding process, which I did in the how to seed a lawn video, so I just didn't want to do that, bore you guys with all that stuff again. So let's explain what grass types I'm using, where they're at. So front yard here we have mainly the SS 9000 mix of ryegrass. That's why it's coming up so quickly, and that's really why I used rye at this point, was because we're late in the season, knowing that I don't have a whole lot of time to get this thing going before we could get some freezing temperatures. So that's what I'm using there. I did throw down some Jumpstart bluegrass with it, which is supposed to be fairly fast as far as establishment, but I haven't really noticed too much yet as far as that goes. So I'm just waiting for that to see what's going to happen. But actually, as I say that and I do look closely, right in there, those little ones coming up, some of these little tiny ones right there, those are actually bluegrass coming in. So it's probably about the 8 to 10 day mark before any of those are going to show up, just in case you were kind of wondering about that. But that looks like about where we're at right now. Over here you can see how much the established turf has turned a real nice dark green with our fall colors coming in here, our fall lawn I should say. But over in this section here, I was just trying to fix a little bit of leveling right in there, and that one is Fiesta 4 ryegrass. I just used one type because I had some of it on hand, and Drew from Seed Superstore provided me that one, and he wanted me to just test it in one specific area to see kind of what it looks like as a single thing. So that's kind of what I wanted to do there. Then for those of you wondering if peat moss makes a difference, look at this little area right here where you can see exactly where the peat moss is gathered. And I did have a little bit of mulch on here, but it kind of blew away the first day. So just wanted to show you there that the bare soil, you can tell a big difference between where it holds the moisture in with that peat moss, and the germination rates are so much better in those little sections. Let's go to the north side of the house and show you what I used over there, and also talk a little bit about the easy mulch, how that's worked out, how it hasn't worked out, and kind of the pros and cons there. Alright, so here's we have the north side of the house, and again, this is our major kind of slope area coming down through here. Now you can see right here I had some problems, and I'm going to explain that in just a second. In this section I use a little bit of my same ryegrass bluegrass mix that I used on the renovation area, and then I also threw down some regular SS 9000 ryegrass to kind of make it a little bit heavier on the ryegrass through this section. So right in here what happened was I had some really strong winds the first couple days that I put down that straw, and I didn't get it heavy enough in these sections, and then I didn't get it watered in quickly enough before a lot of it blew around, and I thought I had a layer left on there. However, you can see that it was really light. Once our rain came and I have a slope right through this section here, that stuff washed out. So I put a little bit of peat moss on, but you can also see that rainstorm that we had yesterday, most of that washed around as well. So I have a little bit of fixing in here to do, and I know I'm kind of running out of time, so I might have to overseed this again a little bit, just hoping for a little bit of coverage before we get to next season, and then just kind of see what it looks like at that point. So my thoughts on the straw are that so far I'm actually pretty impressed with it. Again, some of those areas that look bare right now really wasn't because of the straw not holding there. It was just that the wind blew it around too much before I got it wet enough to actually get that tackifier to stick things together. So unfortunately I was a little bit unlucky and I had 35-mile-per-hour winds 2 days after I actually put it down, and I just didn't get it wet enough. So a little bit thicker layer there, where on those sections would have helped me a little bit too. I wasn't sure how thick I should put it though, because I wanted to make sure that germination could still happen up through there. So in general, I'm pretty happy with it, especially on this pretty steep slope over here. Looking at the peat moss and what it did in the rainstorm yesterday, I know that there would have been no way that peat moss would have held on that slope. For the most part, the straw that's there, once it got kind of tackified together, looks pretty good to me. So things are breaking down a little bit too. I can already tell it's getting a little bit thinner than when I put it down. And after a couple mows with a bagger, it looks to me like it probably will be mostly gone at that point. So I'm kind of at that point here now, just kind of in the waiting game phase. Also, I wanted to give you the information on what types of grass I used in there so that you have an idea of that, because I got a lot of questions. And again, I just didn't do it in my last video because I didn't want to bore everyone with the same information, but that's kind of some important information. So there's the grass types that I used, and so far it's looking pretty good. Okay, I couldn't resist. I had to do a little bit of test mowing. So what I love about this little reel mower is you can see it just goes right over top of everything here, no damage. All the new stuff in there is still looking perfectly fine. So that's what I really like about that little mower. Cutting that also gives us an idea of how much new growth is in there, and I'm seeing quite a bit. So hopefully here in another couple weeks this will start to fill in a little bit, and we're crossing our fingers for no freezes. Also, really quickly here, I know I'm jumping around all over the place, but I wanted to show you, I threw down a little bit of the SS 9000 mix here right near my shed in kind of a bare spot. Didn't water it, I just let it go naturally to whatever it was going to do, and here are the results. Also, here's what it kind of looks like so you guys have a better idea of what that ryegrass mix actually looks like. So right here, you can see where it was, all this little section, all that over there is my other crappy grass that we've been walking on all season that does not look good, but all this stuff is the new, and that is the SS 9000 ryegrass. It has kind of like a wispy feel to it, so you can see very, very thin blades. But the green color is nice, and when you're out in the sun it shines. The leaves kind of have like a reflection to them, and that's what gives us such great stripes from ryegrass. Well, that's probably enough of my crazy shenanigans for today. I'm just having some fun out in the yard like I always do, so I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.